We had a bagster with a bunch of debris from the backyard sitting by the side of the house. And my son's friend was there one day. And we assume, it's the only thing we can come up with, that he just flicked his cigarette and didn't put it out all the way, and it must have landed in that bagster with the debris. So it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. Luckily for us, our neighbor came home from work, saw smoke, came pounding on the door.
The flames were probably up about 3 feet at that time. I was like, I don't think they know. By the time we got inside, my wife was calling 911. I came around to come let them know, and the whole side of the house is already up. It just went up quick. Pounding on their front door trying to get them out, and they had no idea. They were all just sitting around watching TV or something. They had no clue.
The fire marshals, said, well, did your fire alarms go off? Weren't they working? Yeah, they're working. Yeah, they're working. They're all good. But there was no smoke in the house, so there was nothing to set them off. Went up the south wall and up over the roof, just, super fast. I didn't have any insurance on it, so I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do for a minute. It sat there for a little bit. And then my friend set me up with a realtor that she's known for years and years, and I met him out at the house. He said, well, what do you want to do? You want to get a loan, you want to sink some money into it and then sell it? What do you want to do? And at that point in time, I was just, so emotional that I just decided I just needed to get rid of it, It was time. I just decided it was time. And he made some calls, and you guys called me.
So I found this property from a real estate agent friend of mine. He'd heard about the property from an agent in his office, and he asked me if I was interested. Of course, I'm always interested. Burned out house that's been vacant for months, absolutely. I knew from the get-go that it was the right situation, she was the right seller, I could give her what she wanted, so I knew I was not leaving there without getting something signed, or else I was done. He and I actually showed up first before she got there, and I'm walking around the house, and I was just, getting this feeling. I get this gut feeling. I was like, yeah, this looks like a situation that's going to be a good situation to add value to. And the seller showed up. I started building rapport with her, and I found out that the house had been vacant, I believe, for like 8 months. Pipes had frozen. So I was very interested in this story and in her and her life, and she had a very interesting life. So we started bonding and building that rapport. So then I asked her the all-important question: how much do you want for the property? In a perfect world, if you can wave a magic wand, how much would is the cash that you need for this? And she kind of thought about it for a second. She said, $75,000. I'd like to have $75,000. She told me there was a few other people that she had been talking with. So a couple of other investors, and I think some other real estate agents. I wasn't exactly sure. But she also told me that there was a company that had, she'd called this company and they'd given her a blind offer. Basically, they wrote her an offer and emailed it to her or mailed it to her or whatever it was.
They just called me, asked me like 10 questions, and then sent me a really, really, really low bid.
So how much did they offer you? And I think she said like $40,000 or $43,000. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, what company in their right mind would hear a situation of a house that's vacant, owned free and clear, fire damaged, that they just send a blind offer out there? Like, I was thinking, like, who would do that? Now, even though there was a little bit of competition, I had to ask that next important question, right? Basically, I said, well, what's it going to take to get it done today? I said, look, you're trying to sell this house. You need money. I found out what she needed, and I restated to her, is this exactly what you need? She said, yeah. And I said, look, if I can give you what you need, and I can get you that in the next 3 to 4 days, then there's no reason you wouldn't want to sell me the property today. And she said, well, no, that's what I need. I need the property sold quickly, and you need someone to take care of it, and somebody that's going to build it back up and to do the neighborhood justice. And I said, yeah, we're absolutely going to do that. She said, no, if that's what you can do, then I'm willing to do something today. I said, great. So then I got my real estate agent to do all the paperwork, and she signed it up right there on the trash can and put her under contract right then.
The one other company whose bid was not really competitive with yours, but the one I had the most dealings with, I called him to tell him, I'm not taking your offer. I have a higher one. And he went, well, what is it? And I told him, and he says, well, let me see what I can do. And then I didn't think he could do anything, because he pretty much told me that he couldn't when he gave me that bid. This is the best that I can do. Unless you can bring your contractor in and he does that work that he was supposed to do for you, and then I can give you that much back. And then he called me back after I called Mark and said, well, I can do this. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to put it in writing, I'll take it to him because it's already a done deal. He's like, no, I'm not going to put it in writing. We're not going to get into a bid. I'm like, fine. You've been great. I'm very, very thankful.
Yeah. So we got all these certifications, we jumped through the city's hoops, and that took weeks. But when we finally could get started on the property, it was so cool to watch it transform because, there was literally no roof on the house. So we purchased this property on April 28th for $70,000. We resold the property on October 29th for $215,000. So that was a total gross profit of $145,000. But here's the breakdown of the expenses. $12,738 went to real estate commissions. Now this was larger than usual because my friend that was a real estate agent, I agreed to give him a full commission on the listing on the backside. $8,987 went to closing costs, both my closing costs and the seller paid closing costs. $61,446 went to materials and labor in fixing up the property. $1,964 went to property taxes, utilities, and permits. Because I borrowed money on this property and it took me 6 months, I actually paid $7,800 in interest expenses. So after improving the neighborhood and watching this really cool transformation in my first Firehouse, I had a net profit of $52,069. My takeaway number one for this property was a huge surprise to me. The day after I signed that contract, I went into my office, was talking with my guys, and I just mentioned to them in passing, hey, I signed up a house last night that was a fire damage house. They said, whoa, wait a second, where was it? I said, it was in Taylorsville. They said, was it on this street? Like, yeah, it was on that street. Why? I said, oh, we sent those guys an offer. And then it hit me. We sent a blind offer to that motivated seller. My team did that. I almost exploded. I was like, are you kidding me, guys? So takeaway number one, never, ever send a blind offer to a motivated seller. You always meet them in person. When you meet the seller in person and you're out there building a rapport with them and you recognize that there's competition on that property. Takeaway number two is, you never leave that property without getting a contract signed. If you don't get the contract signed and you leave that property, your chances of getting that deal go down to almost zero. Because you better believe that next investor that walks in there, he's gonna sense there's competition, he's gonna do whatever it takes to sign it up right then and there.